Hi guys, I got some final thoughts on the card that's taking place this weekend. Oleksandr Usyk, Oleksandr Gvozdyk and Vasyl Lomachenko are all going to be fighting on the same card. It's taking place in Maryland in America. Really looking forward to this one. We've got some of the real top fighters in the world on this card. Lomachenko and Usyk, with their last couple of performances, have solidified themselves as top 10 pound for pound fighters despite not having many fights. I mean, they've got the skills to compete with anybody in the sport. Now, I have prediction videos up for two of these fights. I didn't make one about the UNSC Gonzalez Gvozdyk fight because, to be honest, I think that's going to be a fairly comfortable victory for Oleksandr Gvozdyk. UNSC Gonzalez, he's a tough guy. Comes to fight, he's durable, he's got a good chin, but to be honest, he's a little bit crude. He's not a typical Cuban fighter. He's a guy who takes quite a lot of shots. He's not really that skilled in my opinion. I mean, he did give Jean Pascal a lot of problems, but I watched his fight against Vyacheslav Shabransky and I wasn't really impressed. I mean, Shabransky comfortably won that fight in my opinion, and I just think the guy's crude, and I think that a guy who's well schooled like Oleksandr Gvozdyk should probably pick this guy apart. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to stop him. I mean, I know that obviously Shabransky and Pascal weren't able to stop him, but Gvozdyk to me, he's fundamentally sound, but he's also very powerful. And I don't know, I've got a feeling he might get the stoppage here, because he just seems very solid to me. I mean, he was able to get the stoppage against Chilemba, who had been the distance with people like Tony Bellew and Sergey Kovalev, who were known as huge punchers at light heavyweight. So I think that Oleksandr Gvozdyk may be able to get the stoppage in that one, and I think he's going to win it comfortably. I really don't see UNSC Gonzalez giving him that many problems. So I don't really think I need to break that one down, but as for the other fights, I think they're good fights. Okay, I think that Michael Hunter, the cruiserweight contender that Usyk's going to be fighting, I think he's a decent fighter. He's not that well known. There isn't a whole lot of footage out there on him, but the guy is seasoned. Despite only having 12 pro fights, he's been around for a while, and he's actually sparred with the Klitschko's. He's sparred with Deontay Wilder. Done a lot of sparring at the Mayweather gym and whatnot. As an amateur, he apparently fought Tyson Fury. He also fought Artur Beterbiev. He qualified for the Olympics. So, the guy is a solid, fundamentally sound, decent, technically skilled cruiserweight. He's competed at heavyweight a few times, but he's clearly more suited to cruiserweight, and he's coming off a one-sided decision victory against Isaiah Thomas, who was quite a slick southpaw, who was undefeated. So I think it's going to be a difficult fight for Usyk, but I think Usyk, with his superior boxing skill, I think he might win it. I also think Usyk is far better athlete of the two. Michael Hunter looks a little bit fleshy and a little bit chubby. I expect him to be in better shape than usual for this fight, but I mean, Usyk's a guy who I've never seen out of shape. The guy's always looking ripped and looking, nice and lean. So I see Usyk being the superior athlete. He's got very quick hands for a cruiserweight. He moves very well, so I see him winning a wide decision. Stoppage is possible, but to be honest, I don't really think that Usyk has elite power at cruiserweight. He's a guy who's, his knockouts have more been accumulation type knockouts. He doesn't have the kind of punching power that someone like Murat Gassiev or Kudryashov or Maris Bridis or even Marco Huck, to be honest, have. I think those guys are a little bit more heavy-handed than Usyk, but and Lebedev too, but and what's his name, Glavatsky. But I just think that Usyk, he's got much better skills than those guys. Even Tony Bellew, I would say, has heavier hands than Usyk. But I just think that Usyk, he's so far apart from those guys in terms of boxing skill and boxing IQ and all-round athleticism. I just think that he's such a technically skilled fighter. So fast for his weight, and I just think he's really good. I really do. He's a top pound-for-pound fighter in my opinion, and if he's able to dominate Michael Hunter, who's an unbeaten, solid contender, then I think this a really good look for Usyk, and love to see him in some unification fights. I mean, Maris Bridis just won the title against Marco Huck. He's now the WBC and IBO champion, so a unification with Maris Bridis would be a really good fight for Usyk. Obviously, you've still got Lebedev. He's the WBA champion still. the super champion, that is. I think the regular champion is Babet Shumenov. Tony Bellew, he's no longer at cruiserweight. He vacated. You've got who's the other belt holder? Yeah, Gassiev. That's it. He beat Lebedev for the IBF belt. So yeah, I would love to see that fight too. Any of those fights are good to me. I just really want to see Usyk in some unifications, because I think that with the skill and the talent that he has, it would make sense for him to try and pick up some more belts, and before he moves up to heavyweight, which I think he will at some point, try and pick up some more straps at cruiserweight and try and establish himself as the number one guy in the division. Just make it official by picking up some more straps. So yeah, some really great fights for him. Like I've said before in many videos, I really love the cruiserweight division. It's my favourite division in boxing, and yeah, it can only get better because we've got some really, really talented guys there. Now, let's talk about the main event, or what I believe is going to be the main event, and that's Vasyl Lomachenko is going to be facing Jason Sosa. And I think that the more and more people look into this fight, and the closer and closer the fight gets, the more people that realise that this is a serious fight. I mean, Jason Sosa is a solid, relentless, tough, durable, skilled boxer. He really is. I mean, if you look at his fight against Nicholas Walters, I know that HBO wants you to think that the fight was a one-sided, just complete domination in Walters' favour. It really wasn't, okay? It was a competitive fight. Jason Sosa gave a good account of himself. He, to me, it was one of them fights where, he was pretty much able to nullify Nicholas Walters' offense. Sorry, I was just replying to somebody there. Yeah, he was able to nullify Walters' offense and take away his power, because going into that fight, Nicholas Walters was really known as a knockout puncher. He was blowing people away. I mean, you look what he did to people like Vic Darchinyan and Nonito Donaire. Those guys really couldn't. They couldn't stand the power. The guy was just too strong and too powerful for those guys, and it gave Nicholas Walters the reputation of a really dangerous puncher. Kind of a Mike Tyson figure in the sport. But Jason Sosa, to me, he was able to get close to him. He was able to, just nullify his offense, nullify his power, take his power away, and he made Nicholas Walters' power look very average in that fight, and it's something that guys like Nonito Donaire weren't able to do. Like I said, they got blown away, whereas Jason Sosa showed a certain amount of durability and a certain amount of craft on the inside that those guys didn't show. So yeah, I was impressed with what I saw from Jason Sosa in that one, and of course he went on to have an upset victory against the undefeated Javier Fortuna. He won that fight by stoppage. A lot of people didn't expect that. He really showed a lot of power in the fight, a lot of durability. Again, he's just a very, very strong, tough, durable guy who comes to fight. And he then went over to Monaco. This was on the undercard of the Luis Ortiz-Malik Scott fight. He fought Stephen Smith from the UK, and yeah, he completely dominated him. He battered Stephen Smith. I remember watching that one live, and I was very impressed with what I saw from Sosa in that fight. Like I said, he was relentless. He showed a lot of stamina, let his hands go. Very tough, very durable, solid chin. Works the body inside, and he's just a guy who he's just such a rough, tough, rugged guy. And I think that going into this Lomachenko fight, I think that Sosa, he's going to want to kind of try and impose himself on Lomachenko, be the aggressor, work the body, try and push Lomachenko back. When Lomachenko throws those like dazzling combinations, trying to catch him between punches, between combinations, and just drag him into a brawl, drag him into a fight. Be a little bit rough at times. He's probably going to want to look at the Salido fight, the Salido Lomachenko fight, and think about some of the things that Salido did that gave Lomachenko problems and threw him off his game. And obviously, I'm not talking about the coming in overweight. I'm not talking about the low blows. Just some of the other stuff, getting inside and working the body and pushing him back and just being rough, using your physical strength. I think that's what Jason Sosa needs to do here. Needs to be very physical and very relentless in the ring. and he's capable of doing it. But the problem is he's facing an elite fighter, and although I think that Sosa is a very good fighter and a very tough guy who's relentless and durable, I don't think he's got the elite level boxing skill that Vasyl Lomachenko has. So I see Vasyl Lomachenko outboxing him. I see Lomachenko taking a step back when he needs to and giving him angles, and then firing that left hand from weird angles and countering with the right hook. Going to the body, showing that amazing footwork where he's literally just circling round guys, and he looks as if he's ballet dancing in the ring and shit because his footwork is that good. I just think Lomachenko, man, he's fantastic to watch. He really is. He's got a real beautiful style because he's aggressive, but at the same time he's so nimble. He's so light on his feet, and he's just relentless in the ring, and he's just such an accurate combination puncher. He tattoos your face with combinations, and he's always busy. He's just constantly active in the ring, whether he's jumping about, whether he's throwing punches. He's always doing something. He'll feint, he'll lead off with hooks, he'll lead off with straights. He'll use his jab when he needs to. He's just such a well-rounded, amazing, technically skilled fighter. Just such a great boxer. And I think that, it's a tough ask for Jason Sosa, it is. And I'm going to go with Vasyl Lomachenko to win a wide decision on points. But, if Sosa can somehow impose his will on Lomachenko, then we never know. But yeah, I basically said all I needed to say in my prediction. I do think Lomachenko is going to win. I think that, on this card, he obviously is going to want to impress his Ukrainian fans, because with three, top-level Ukrainian amateurs, two of them world champions, fighting on the same card, you can bet that most of the crowd is going to be Ukrainian, and you're probably going to have a big Ukrainian following in the crowd. So I think that Lomachenko, there's a lot of pressure on him to win this fight, and yeah, I see him doing it. I see him doing it comfortably, most likely on points. A stoppage is possible. Look, Lomachenko has been getting the stoppage lately. His power is improving every fight. He's sitting down on his punches more. He transitioned over to the professionals from the amateurs very well, and he really is sitting down on his punches. I mean, if you look at him in like the Gary Russell Jr. fight and the Salido fight, for example, and you compare him to the Walters fight and the Martinez fight, for example, he's hitting a heck of a lot harder now. So a stoppage for him is possible, but I think the smart money's probably on a decision. But anyway, I need to stop this video now, guys. So let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching.